Welcome to the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner Prepcast, where we guide you through everything you need to know for your certification exam. Whether you're just starting or looking to refine your knowledge, this course will set you up for success. Brought to you by baremetalcyber.com. Let's get started. Cost optimization is one of the most important skills for both the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam and for real-world business success. The cloud offers enormous flexibility, but without proper cost management, that flexibility can lead to waste. Organizations must balance performance and availability with cost efficiency, ensuring they only pay for what they truly need. AWS provides multiple tools and strategies to help customers manage expenses proactively. For exam purposes, you should know the common methods AWS recommends for cost optimization and how they connect to business goals like sustainability, accountability, and efficiency. Right-sizing resources is the starting point for cost optimization. Right-sizing means matching the capacity of your resources to the actual workload requirements. For example, if an EC2 instance consistently uses only 10% of its CPU, it is over-provisioned and could be replaced with a smaller, cheaper instance. Conversely, if a workload regularly maxes out, resizing to a larger instance can improve performance without adding unnecessary servers. Right-sizing requires monitoring usage patterns with tools like CloudWatch and adjusting resources accordingly. For the exam, remember that right-sizing is about eliminating waste and improving efficiency. Reserved instances are one of the most popular cost-saving options in AWS. By committing to use a specific instance type for 1 or 3 years, customers receive significant discounts compared to on-demand pricing. This is best suited for predictable, steady workloads like databases or enterprise applications that run continuously. Reserved instances trade flexibility for savings, but the long-term cost benefits can be substantial. For the exam, expect questions about when reserved instances are appropriate. The answer is when workloads are predictable and long-term. Savings plans are a more flexible alternative to reserved instances. Instead of committing to a specific instance type, customers commit to a certain amount of usage measured in dollars per hour. This usage can be spread across multiple services, such as EC2, Fargate, or Lambda. The result is similar cost savings, but with greater flexibility in how the commitment is applied. For example, a company with a variety of compute workloads may prefer savings plans over reserved instances because they cover multiple use cases. On the exam, remember that savings plans provide flexibility across services while still offering discounts. Spot instances provide the deepest discounts but also come with the most risk. Spot pricing lets customers use spare AWS capacity at up to 90% off, but AWS can reclaim the instance at any time if demand increases. This makes spot instances unsuitable for mission-critical workloads, but ideal for flexible, fault-tolerant tasks like batch processing, simulations, or testing environments. For example, a research team might use spot instances to run large-scale computations cheaply, knowing the workload can be interrupted. For exam purposes, know that spot instances trade stability for maximum savings. Autoscaling is another cost optimization strategy that helps organizations pay only for what they need. Instead of running a fixed number of instances at all times, autoscaling automatically adjusts capacity based on demand. When traffic increases, new instances launch, and when traffic decreases, unneeded instances shut down. This ensures performance while eliminating the cost of idle resources. For exam preparation, remember that autoscaling optimizes costs by matching capacity to demand dynamically. Storage class optimization is just as important as compute optimization. AWS S3 offers multiple storage classes with different pricing and retrieval times. Frequently accessed data belongs in S3 standard, while rarely accessed data can be moved to infrequent access or Glacier for savings. Lifecycle policies automate this process, ensuring that data migrates to the most cost-effective class over time. For exam purposes, know that optimizing storage costs requires matching storage class to access patterns. Data transfer costs are often overlooked but can become significant. Transferring data out of AWS, between regions, or across availability zones all incur charges. Customers must design architectures with awareness of how data moves. For example, using cloud front edge locations can reduce expensive long-distance transfers. On the exam, expect to see cost optimization questions that emphasize minimizing unnecessary data transfer to control spending. AWS Budgets is a tool that helps enforce cost limits. Organizations can set spending thresholds and receive alerts when costs approach or exceed them. For example, a department may set a budget of $5,000 per month, and if spending reaches 80% of that, AWS Budgets sends a notification. This proactive approach ensures teams take corrective action before overspending occurs. For exam preparation, know that AWS Budgets is the tool for setting limits and alerts on spending. Cost Explorer is another important tool, providing detailed visualizations of past and current spending. With Cost Explorer, organizations can break down costs by service, account, or resource tags. This makes it easier to identify trends, inefficiencies, or unexpected charges. For example, a company might discover that most of its costs come from underutilized EC2 instances. Cost Explorer supports both monitoring and planning, making it a central part of cost management. On the exam, remember that Cost Explorer provides analysis and insights into billing data. Trusted Advisor also plays a role in cost optimization. It provides automated checks that highlight opportunities to save money, such as unused load balancers, unattached EBS volumes, or idle instances. These recommendations help customers identify and eliminate waste quickly. Trusted Advisor ties cost optimization to best practices, ensuring resources are both efficient and secure. For exam purposes, know that Trusted Advisor offers cost checks alongside checks for security, performance, and reliability. Consolidated billing is another strategy for organizations with multiple AWS accounts. With consolidated billing, usage across all accounts is combined into one bill, making it easier to manage and often qualifying for volume discounts. For example, if one department uses 500 hours of compute and another uses 700, the organization pays for 200 hours at a lower blended rate. This feature simplifies administration and reduces overall costs. On the exam, remember that consolidated billing benefits organizations with multiple accounts by combining usage for discounts. Tagging is essential for cost allocation and accountability. By tagging resources with labels like Department Marketing or Project Mobile App, organizations can track who is responsible for spending. This prevents disputes over costs and encourages accountability across teams. Tags also integrate with AWS Budgets and Cost Explorer, making it possible to view spending by tag. On the exam, remember that tagging is a best practice for both governance and financial management. Finally, cost optimization is not a one-time activity but a continuous process. Workloads change, usage patterns shift, and AWS introduces new services and pricing models. Organizations must regularly review their costs, adjust their strategies, and adopt new tools. Continuous optimization ensures the cloud remains sustainable and cost-effective over the long term. For exam preparation, remember that cost optimization is an ongoing practice, not a one-off effort. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Governance plays an important role in cost control. Organizations can set policies that define how resources are provisioned, who can launch them, and how they must be tagged. AWS services like Control Tower and organizations support these governance policies, ensuring that budgets are respected and cost optimization practices are enforced consistently. Without governance, individual teams may launch unnecessary resources, leading to waste. On the exam, remember that governance ensures financial accountability by aligning cloud spending with business rules and policies. Cost awareness should also be integrated into DevOps practices. In modern environments, developers can provision resources as part of their workflows. If they are unaware of cost implications, expenses can rise quickly. By embedding cost considerations into deployment pipelines and training development teams to think about budgets, organizations create a culture of financial responsibility. For the exam, keep in mind that cost optimization isn't only a task for finance teams. It's also a shared responsibility across engineering and operations. Serverless computing, such as AWS Lambda, offers unique cost efficiency. With Lambda, customers pay only when code is executed, down to the millisecond. This eliminates the cost of idle servers, making it ideal for event-driven workloads or applications with unpredictable traffic. For example, a photo processing app might use Lambda to resize images only when new files are uploaded, incurring costs only during those moments. For the exam, remember that serverless models like Lambda help reduce costs by charging only for actual usage. Hybrid workload cost management is another consideration. Many organizations run workloads across both on-premises systems and AWS. Tools like AWS Storage Gateway or Outposts allow integration, but costs must be monitored carefully across both environments. Hybrid strategies often save money by allowing gradual adoption of the cloud while maintaining critical workloads locally. However, data transfer costs and duplicated infrastructure can add complexity. For the exam, understand that AWS supports hybrid models, but customers must manage costs across both environments to avoid inefficiencies. Automation is one of the strongest tools for cost savings. Services like Systems Manager, Autoscaling, and Config can automatically enforce cost optimization practices. For example, idle instances can be stopped automatically at night, or storage lifecycle policies can move old files to Glacier without manual effort. Automation ensures savings are consistent and reduces reliance on human intervention. For exam purposes, know that automation is key to sustainable cost optimization because it enforces good practices at scale. Real-world examples highlight how optimization works. A startup might use auto-scaling and spot instances to reduce costs while running workloads that can tolerate interruptions. A media company might save millions by moving rarely used archives into Glacier. A global retailer might implement consolidated billing and tagging to hold departments accountable for their spending. These examples show that cost optimization is not theoretical. It has practical benefits that can dramatically improve financial outcomes. On the exam, expect scenarios like these that test your ability to match strategies with use cases. Education about cost culture is another best practice. Teams need to understand that every resource they launch has a cost, and that savings come from careful planning. By training staff to monitor budgets, use tags, and apply right sizing, organizations embed financial awareness into their daily operations. This cultural shift ensures optimization becomes part of everyone's job, not just a task for finance. For the exam, remember that cost awareness across teams helps prevent waste and supports sustainable cloud adoption. Integration with finance teams is also critical. Cloud spending is often different from traditional IT because it's variable and usage-based. Finance teams must work closely with technical teams to understand budgets, forecast costs, and report on savings. AWS tools like Cost Explorer and Budgets bridge this gap by providing transparency into where money is being spent. For exam preparation, note that collaboration between technical and financial teams is a best practice for effective cost management. Aligning optimization with business goals is another essential practice. Saving money is valuable, but it must be balanced with delivering performance and meeting customer expectations. For example, cutting costs too aggressively may hurt reliability, while overspending may waste resources. The key is aligning optimization with what matters most to the organization, such as improving user experience, supporting compliance, or expanding globally. For the exam, remember that cost optimization is one pillar of the well-architected framework and must be considered alongside performance and reliability. Continuous review practices ensure cost optimization remains effective. Workloads evolve, usage grows, and new AWS features are released. Organizations that regularly review their bills, adjust pricing models, and reevaluate architectures continue to save money over time. Those that treat cost optimization as a one-time project often see expenses creep back up. For exam preparation, know that AWS encourages continuous cost optimization as part of the ongoing cycle of cloud operations. Finally, building optimization into design ensures efficiency from the start. Instead of retroactively trying to cut costs, teams should architect workloads with savings in mind. This might mean using serverless where appropriate, enabling lifecycle policies on storage, or designing autoscaling into applications. Cost-efficient design creates long-term sustainability and reduces the need for major corrections later. For the exam, remember that AWS encourages organizations to design with optimization in mind, not just apply it afterward. As we close this episode, remember that cost optimization is about sustainability, accountability, and efficiency. AWS provides a wide range of tools and strategies, from right-sizing and auto-scaling to reserved instances, spot pricing, and budgets. The exam will test your ability to recognize these methods and apply them to scenarios, but in practice, these strategies ensure organizations can adopt the cloud without losing control of expenses. Mastering cost optimization means you can deliver innovation while keeping cloud usage financially sustainable. That concludes today's episode of the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner Prepcast. Be sure to tune in for the next episode and visit us online at baremetalcyber.com or cyberauthor.me for more resources, including news, mailing lists, YouTube videos, podcasts, and much more.